Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make apple pork chops with caramelized onions. If you've been around my channel for a while, then you know that I love pork chops. A good pork chop can rival a great steak. Today I'm bringing you one of our family favorites. This was actually one of the first recipes posted on my blog, so this is something we've been enjoying for years. We're going to start by slicing up a sweet onion. I don't know that I've ever showed you guys how I slice an onion, so I'll show you today. Cut off the ends, brush those off, slice it in half and remove the peel. Takes a second, sorry. And then I just hold it and use my fingers to guide the knife and keep the whole onion together. And there it is, all sliced up. Slide those onions to the side and we're going to work on cutting up our apples. Now I like using a red apple in this, but not quite a red delicious. Those are a little too sweet. I want a mid-range in sweetness. I don't want tart like green apples, but I want in the middle. Today I'm using a Jonathan. I also love using Honey Crisp. We're leaving the skin on, so make sure you've rinsed them off. And then I cut them into quarters. And then just run my knife down and slice out the core and then cut it in half again. I repeat that with all of my wedges. The next thing we need to do before we start cooking is season up our pork chops. Today I'm using my favorite thick bone-in pork chops. You can actually ask for them to be cut this way at your meat counter. Just ask them for an 1.5 inch or a 2-inch thick slice of bone-in pork loin. Pork needs a lot of salt, so don't skimp on the salt here. Add some nice black pepper, and then make sure you do both sides of this. I'm not even kidding about the salt. If your pork chop doesn't wow you, you didn't put on enough salt. Next, let's head over to our stove and start cooking. I have a skillet heating over medium-high heat, and I'm going to pour in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I'm going to add in my sliced sweet onion and my apple slices. And then season this with about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Let this saute over medium-high for about 5 minutes. You just kind of want to brown off the apples and the onions. And then turn it to low for about 10 to 15 more minutes to allow them to caramelize a little bit. You can see that after about 15 minutes, they've really cooked down. I like to add a little extra sweetness with 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And stir that in to help this caramelization process get a little more sweet. Give that another minute or two to finish cooking, and then we're going to remove all of it from the pan and get that skillet smoking hot to sear off our pork chops. I've got the heat cranked up. I'm going to add in another tablespoon of olive oil and then my pork chops. You want to sear both sides of the chop so that it gets a nice brown crust. It should take about 2 minutes per side. Check here. Look, it's got that nice brown sear, so they're ready to flip. Once both sides have had a chance to sear, you'll reduce the heat to a medium-low and let it finish cooking. Your cooking time will depend on how thick your pork chop is, so just watch it closely. If it's thinner, it should really only take a couple minutes. In fact, searing it might cook it all the way through. If it's thick like mine, it'll probably take about 4 more minutes per side. I like to add in 1/2 cup of apple juice as it finishes cooking. It bubbles and reduces really quickly to form this amazing apple sauce to go with your pork chops. Once they're cooked through, add back in the apples and onions and you're ready to eat. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this family favorite. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe and check out the rest of my channel where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.